There's hundreds of studies showing that a person can feel happier, more confident, and have a better sleep routine by removing clutter from their surroundings. Declutter can help you reduce stress, depression, and anxiety. So today I'll bring you 24 things you can easily get rid of to create that stress-free environment and to have more peace of mind in the next year. If you're new here, hi, my name is Bia. I make videos about minimalism, travel, and simple living. So if that interests you, you already know what to do for us to stay in touch. And on that note, let's get started. 1. Last year's calendar. Okay, let's start simple. If there's one thing that you're definitely not going to need anymore, it's last year's calendar. You can start by getting rid of that and maybe a few others that you might still have around the house from previous years. Maybe this year even consider switching to a digital one. 2. Pens. I don't use papers and pens that often anymore. When I do, it's either when I'm feeling super inspired or I'm on the phone and I need to write down something very fast. Nowadays, I only own one pen that I know for sure it's working and that I particularly like the feel of it. And since you're at it, if you have color pens, make sure they still work. If you think you don't use them that often, give them to someone that you know that has a passion for drawing, or give it to a school or a children's institution. 3. Paper. Receipts, notes from work, letters, envelopes, sticky notes, tickets, the list goes on, and it sure can get overwhelming. Especially when you need to find that particularly important paper and you have absolutely no clue where it is. When it comes to receipts, make sure to know which ones you really need to keep for tax purposes and for how long. For example, I have certain receipts that I know for sure that I need to keep for 5 years. So I have created like a little folder for each year and wrote down when I can officially recycle them. At the beginning of each year, I go through those folders and show the ones that I no longer need to keep. For papers that you want to save but don't actually need to keep the physical evidence, you can always scan them and recycle them. 4. Books or magazines you're not gonna read anymore. If you're gonna read them again, by all sakes, keep them. But if not, consider donating it, selling it, or giving it to a friend. I recently started leaving the books that I already read on the subway with a little note for the person who gets it to read it, pass it to another person, and repeat the process. If there is a page of a certain magazine or book that you particularly like, you can always scan it before you get rid of the physical object. 5. Clothes. Have you ever heard about decision fatigue? Fatigue? It's deteriorating quality of decisions made by an individual after a long session of decision making. On average, a person has to do 35,000 decisions a day. Whether you're making breakfast or choosing the clothes in the morning, the more you can reduce this number, the less tired you're gonna feel in the evening. Hey Google, what should I wear today?
You should wear what makes you feel good.
When it comes to clothes, only own the clothes that make you feel like you're ready to conquer the world. The clothes that make you feel confident, that fit your today body. Remember that clothes should fit your body and not the other way around. That are comfortable. Life is just too short for uncomfortable shoes or clothes that are generally too tight or too loose and that fit your current lifestyle. Avoid trendy pieces because they will go out of style in a few weeks. That's just how the system works. Instead, consider choosing pieces that are classic and that will still look cool years and years down the road. Also, try to invest in pieces that are 100% natural, like linen, wool, cotton, silk, and so on. That will last you a lot longer than the synthetic ones and won't release microplastics into the water every time you do laundry. 6. Accessories. This topic is usually overlooked because they are usually small, but they can cause a lot of decision fatigue as well. Fatigue. What's wrong? Cheap jewelry that no longer looks good, belts that are worn out, scratched sunglasses, ties that never see the daylight, hats that never leave the box, or an excessive amount of scarves when you live in Florida. This happens very easily when there's just too much going on. Instead, be mindful about what you own and invest in 1 or 2 quality pieces of each category and only keep the ones that actually make you feel happy. 7. Hangers. I'm sure once you got that wardrobe curated, you're gonna have some extra hangers around. It is okay to keep a few spare ones, but use this as a number of how many clothes you can own. If you have hangers in bad shape, throw them away because they can damage your clothes. And for the dry cleaner ones, consider returning them to the store. 8. Tights, single socks, and socks with holes. If I find a sock with a hole, I sew it. But when it gets to that point where it gets just too much, I either throw them away or transform them into cleaning cloths. Same thing for tights. So for that single for a while sock that doesn't seem to have a pair anymore, out. 9. Hobby accessories. In my case, I take great joy from plants and gardening, and over the years I might have accumulated a few extra vases, to a point that I can no longer store them in the cabinet. So it is time to cut some back. Take a look at your current or past hobbies. Maybe things that you tried for a while and figure out that you don't like that much. If there is something that you haven't touched in more than a year, maybe it's time to say goodbye. 10. Plants. First of all, the dead ones. You need to accept that no matter what you're gonna do, you're not gonna be able to revive that very sad looking plant in the corner. It's just taking up space and bringing the mood down. Secondly, take time to take out the dead leaves from the alive ones so they don't end up like the first ones. Thirdly, if you have plastic ones that no longer spark joy, get rid of that. Lastly, if you're like me, maybe you got a little bit carried away of the amount of plants one plant mama can't keep up with. So if that is the case, consider giving it to someone that will appreciate them, or maybe even sell them. 11. Expired medicine. The expiration date on a drug is set by the manufacturer as a guarantee that the drug is safe to use and has its full potential. If you find expired medicine, it is recommended to throw it away, especially if the expiry date is months or even years. But try not to trash it. When medicine gets to landfills, it can create toxic waste. Depending on the country where you live, there are specific areas where you can return the medicines, and if not, you can go to the pharmacy and return them yourself, and they will make sure that they will dispose them in a safe way. 12. Expired food. I can tell for sure that at one point or another, we all let this happen. It's okay, we're not perfect, but we can definitely do better. Take some time to go to your fridge, to your pantry, and your spice shelf to individually look at your food's expiration dates. One way to prevent this to happen is to make sure that the food that has a faster expiration date is in front of the food that has a longer expiration date. If you happen to find something that has passed the expiration date, throw them away or decompose it. There is absolutely no reason to start the new year with a food poison. 13. Expired cosmetics. A survey showed that on average women own 40 items of makeup. From those 40 items, we tend to use only 5 on a regular basis. That basically means that the rest 88% goes to waste. Beauty products have expiration date just like food. After their expiration date, they are still function, but they start to create pimples, rashes, and even allergies. So I would advise to have a short list of items that you actually use, so you can have better control over which ones are out of date. 14. Cleaning products. Recycle empty containers, combine partly used products, get rid of any worn out brushes or rags. Once you finish with your cleaning products, before buying new ones, consider to switching to multi-purpose ones so you don't get overwhelmed by the amount of cleaning products you own. If you're finding value in this video, give it a thumbs up, and if there's someone you know that you think they can benefit from these tips, go ahead and share the video with them. 15. Unused furniture. By getting rid of the excess, you now realize that certain cabinets and furniture are starting to look a little bit empty and no longer serve a purpose. Also, consider if that armchair in your room that is only collecting dirty clothes is really a necessity, or you can just get rid of that too. 16. Knickknacks. I know this is a very tempting one. Design objects can for sure be beautiful and make a house a home, but with them comes extra tasks. Just like clothes, there are decor trends, and they're also not made to last. Be mindful about what you bring home, and remember that an object's price is not only in their price tag, it's also about the time you spend cleaning it, maintaining it, fixing it, and making space for it. 17. Extra boxes, containers, and bags. I am definitely guilty on this one. I try to repurpose as much as possible around the house. So if there are boxes, jars, containers, I try to repurpose them as much as possible. Going to the recycle. But maybe it has potential. But I have so many already. Okay. Recycle. But it has potential. But this results in a pile of items that are just sitting there and waiting for their moment, overflowing the drawer, and that moment never comes. As for plastic and paper bags, once you're done with their usage, consider if it makes sense for you to have just a couple of reusable bags instead. 18. Phone. Delete contacts of people that you're no longer in touch with, back up your photos on your phone and delete them, delete emails, and maybe also delete some playlists on your Spotify that you no longer listen to. 19. Tech. Cables that you have no idea what they do, duplicated cables, old cameras, photography gear that you no longer use, old phones, old chargers, old TV remotes. Just look around in your tech drawer or around your house for gadgets that you no longer use and you have absolutely no idea what they're good for. 20. CDs, DVDs, and cassettes. Although vintage stuff may look really cool, when they are locked in a cabinet getting dusty, they just don't serve a purpose. If they contain footage that you don't want to lose, consider digitalize them. I recently done this with some old family cassettes, and it was a really cool down the memory lane moment. Also, these are things that lose their quality over time, so the sooner you do it, the better. 21. Cancel subscriptions. Let's take streaming services for example. Question yourself how much use out of it you're getting and be intentional about their usage, especially if you're subscribed to more than one. I noticed that I spend way too much time searching for something to watch and I end up choosing something random just out of boredom. Even though I'm an advocate for the occasional procrastination, if I have the services at the distance of a click, this happens way often. So I'm taking as a next year's resolution to have a break from streaming services so I can finish the books that I actually want to read. By the way, do you have any New Year's resolutions? If you do, go down in the comment section and tell me about it. I would love to hear it and get inspired. 22. Christmas gifts. After the Christmas season, it is common to end up with gifts that we didn't like that much or we don't see as much value in it. This is delicate because you don't want to be rude to the person who gifted to you because you know it comes from a good place. But the truth is, once something is gifted to you, you are free to do with it whatever makes you happy. 23. People who don't make you feel good. Clutter comes in many forms. Just like objects, people can also feel a little bit too much sometimes. And follow people or brands on social media that don't make you feel good about yourself, that make you question the way you look, the things you possess, the things you say, or that just make you feel behind in life. And most importantly, if there's someone like this that you know from real life, make sure to also cut them back. This doesn't mean that they are bad people, it just means they're not a good fit for you. Think that your time is limited and it is impossible to give the same amount of attention to everyone. So choose wisely the people you surround yourself with. 24. Junk mail. In my country, it's common to receive advertisement in your mailbox. I really don't like that and I try to get a solution out of it. There are stickers that you can print and put in your mailbox to let know the ad distributors that you don't want to receive their ads. I wish this would work on 100% of the time, but at least I could cut down around 90% of the ads that I receive in my mailbox. With digital email, this is a lot simpler thanks to the most powerful button of all times, the unsubscribe. Usually at the end of the email in a very small font size. So anytime you receive a marketing email, go ahead and click unsubscribe. This way you're not tempted to spend money with them and also avoid digital clutter in your mailbox. And that's it, we reached 24. But I have 2 extra ones as a reward for making this far with me, and they are both super impactful. 25. Car. I am very aware that this one depends on a lot of factors. If you have kids, if you live in a state where everything is far away, if the transportation system is poor, if you're physically not able to move around on your own, or even if the weather or the neighborhood where you're in is not safe, then this is completely understandable. But if you live in a big city, for example, you probably already have everything you need on a closer distance. Then the car starts to be more a convenience item rather than a necessity. We all know how much a car can cost per year, plus everything you need to keep track, like inspection, insurance, parking, fines, unexpected malfunctions, not getting out of gas in the middle of the highway, or even when someone decides to steal your catalyst. You have to weigh down if this is worth the trouble. Maybe catching an Uber, organizing car sharing with colleagues, take transportation, bike, or even just walk might be a better option for you. I'm definitely not saying you should do it, but even though I love to drive, I have been car-free for 3 years now, and I haven't regretted one day. It really felt like there was a big weight getting off my shoulders, so that might also help you get some stress off your life and get some extra money. And 26. Last year's goals. Final one and very important one. Listen closely. Sister to sister, sister to brother, sister, however you identify yourself with, listen. It is okay to let go of something you thought you wanted. There is no shame in switching your mind and understanding that after all, this or that is not making you happy. Maybe you were living someone else's dream, let's say for example your parents, or the process of getting there is making you miserable and it's just not worth it at all, or that maybe you set the bar way too high and you need to cut down that goal into smaller achievements. But do not beat yourself about not being somewhere. Trust the process and focus on what you can actually control. I'm saying this to you, but I'm also saying this to myself. And that's it. 24 plus 2 extra things serve as an inspiration for you to start a calm, stress-free beginning of the year and beyond. If you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, make sure to leave it a thumbs up so we can reach more people. Remember to stay kind to yourself and to others. I appreciate the time you've been here, and I hope to see you on the next video. Goodbye, have a nice day, and take care.